If you've started your first business and it's the slightest bit immoral, you're going to fail. You've set yourself up for failure from the start. It needs to be moral and 100% truthful, because if it's not truthful and there's a little bit of a lie, or you're not completely helping people, then it's a big problem. And I'm not saying you need to have a business that completely changes people's lives. I think it's a matter of leaving them better than where they left off and fulfilling on your promise. Like for me, I run a video editing agency, so it's boring. I'm not entering people's lives and fucking saving their sicknesses. Do you know what I mean? It's at the end of the day, they're getting high quality videos and they're getting what they paid for and what I promised. And like if I was giving people videos that were bad quality when I promised the opposite and I'm charging high, I see that as immoral and untruthful, because maybe I haven't negatively impacted their life where it's a big problem, but it's still not truthful. Like, I think honesty in business, especially when you're starting your first business, gets you a long way. I remember when one of my first clients, and I still work with him to this day, and that was 3 years ago or so. Consider him a friend now. And then for him, I remember I there was some sort of like mistake we both didn't even realize, and the invoice was $100 extra. And then so the month before there was a few videos that weren't fulfilled on, and then we both forgot about that. And then on the month I billed him for the next batch and didn't minus the previous ones. And I sent the invoice, he was about to pay it, and then I said, "Oh, hang on, just wait, I need to remove like $100 or $200 off it because we didn't do the videos last month." And then I remember him saying, "You're an honest businessman, I like it." And then from that, he's probably referred me and brought me into projects worth over 100K now. So it honestly goes a long way. Like, I think the problem is that a lot of it is short term money, and if you look at a lot of the people, where specifically like course sellers, and not all of them are bad, but the course sellers that are promising the world and doing nothing, or the kind of the day traders where it's clear they're full of shit, like they're also promising the world. People like that, where at the end of the day, it's short term money, where a lot of the people where it hasn't worked out for them, or they actually scam the people, their brand, their online reputation, and in person reputation is finished because they chose short term money. Like, I remember that Hawk Tour girl. I mean, it was a stupid brand anyway, from the start, or why she was famous. But I believe she did some crypto coin, and then it was a rug pull, something like that. I haven't really looked into it. It's just from what I saw online, to take with a grain of salt. But it was a rug pull where it was just a lie, basically, and they took all of the investment from people into the cryptocurrency, and then it just gives you such a bad reputation. And I think it is a matter of short term versus long term money. And even if it's like for the products and services, I think if you're not leaving people in a better situation than they were prior, or you haven't 100% fulfilled on what you've promised, you've got a big problem. Like I was speaking to someone a little while back, and he was wanting to start a business where he, it was like it was within peptides, and like I don't really know too much about it, but I've got a negative opinion on it. But the problem was is that the specific products that he was going to sell weren't 100% tested. They're very new, and they're from a Chinese manufacturer, where it's kind of just like there's not much certification to it, from my understanding. And then he was wanting to sell them, and then you hear some people talking about selling peptides, and they make a lot of money, but then the problem is you don't know the long-term effects to them. And I'm obviously not a scientist, don't have a clue, but from what I've seen, and regardless, the problem isn't necessarily where they're either proven or they're not. It's the uncertainty and willingness to still sell them. And he's not doing the business, or he didn't start the business. But I asked him, would you have your mum take them? And he said no. And then so it's like, why would you sell them to other people? And then I think that was kind of like the pivotal point. But you have to, like, even for I don't know. It could be the smallest thing, whether it's, I don't know, a clothing, maybe a clothing brand's a bit hard. It's pretty black and white, but kind of, especially the services business where you've promised things and then you're either under fulfilling. Like about a year ago, I was working with this marketing agency and they're doing crazy numbers. Like it was multi-millions a month. And then the problem was they were very, very good at marketing via paid ads. And then they had a lot of people coming in the door. And then once they finished the agreement for the set amount of months, then it would end, and then that's that. And then it didn't really, it just wasn't the best because not many people were getting results, and it was kind of the churn and burn model, and where people come in and then they leave not happy, but then they're still paid the full amount and they haven't gotten the result that they paid for, which is a big problem. So yeah, I think if you're starting anything, it's the biggest thing is just having honesty and transparency in mind because it just goes a long way, much further than kind of just the short term money. Like you're gonna make a few grand, or I don't know, you can make a grand, 10 grand, 100 grand, a million, and then it's gone, and then you're stuck. So yeah, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt because obviously I'm early days in my business. I've been kind of started 5 years ago now, or started my first one 5 years ago. Been running the video editing business for around about 3 years. But yeah, take it with a grain of salt. But I don't think you can go wrong with being honest and just fulfilling and trying to give the best quality service that you can and being transparent. But yeah, hopefully that adds something to your life and changes some people from not being retarded and potentially destroying lives for quick term money. But yeah, have a good one.